joined here by Latif Ladid. He is the founder and the president of the IPv6 Forum. Hi Latif, and thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure.
You mentioned that India is on the road to becoming a great nation as it used to be. So could you give us some context and tell us why you think this is so?
Yeah, so basically India was already back in year 1000 the richest country in the world primarily because of the spices. That's why their food culture was very advanced compared to the other countries. And that was basically what gave them the richness. So they were exporting a lot of that, which attracted basically Europe to this part of the world. And over time, they maintained that position. So even today, they're still number 3 with $10 trillion GDP with PPP, which is the purchasing power parity. So basically, it's really a very advanced nation. And today, we are in Bangalore, which is the Silicon Valley of India, while most of the policy is taken in Delhi. So the two of them are very good poles. One is creating innovation, and the other one is scaling it and propagating it across the country. So back 20 years ago, we started here exactly with this event that we have on blockchain. We started the introduction of IPv6. And it's exactly the same scenario, which is quite interesting, because to me it's like, a very nostalgic place to start after 2 decades. We should have done it a decade ago, but 2 decades we have discovered that really the biggest killer application for IPv6 is blockchain, and preferably with just digital cash, in this case BSV, which is the right thing to do. And with India's talent in software engineering, they will be able to create a lot of applications based on blockchain for all kind of industries. So there are so many verticals that need this kind of end-to-end encrypted data as well as secure networking. So we can do that for the food supply chain, energy, and so on, just name it. And I would expect in the next 5 years, probably India will be the biggest blockchain nation.
What do you think is needed, though, in order to achieve that?
So this forum will have to establish large-scale educational programs through its partners. So we have to partner with a lot of people. Also attract universities, to also add to their curriculum blockchain courses. So the next generation students, in this case, will have to be coming out of the university with the minimum of knowledge on blockchain. So BSV blockchain has its own academy and its own courses with certification. And we from the IPv6 Forum also, we have exactly the same thing. We have also IPv6 training academy. And as a matter of fact, the head office is in Malaysia. So we'll be now putting together an educational program between the BSV Academy and the IPv6 Forum V6 training program, and also build something which is cohesive between the two.
According to Google statistics, India is leading globally in terms of IPv6 adoption. What are your thoughts on that? Is it leading, and how is it faring compared to other countries in the world?
Yeah, in India, you have a major operator called Reliance Jio, and has introduced directly 4G with IPv6. And these have almost 250 million IPv6 users on 4G, which is by far the largest ISP in the world. So they will be on for a long time, number one. So the closest company that has similar things is China Telecom, with about 160 million. Then the next possible one is in the US, which is Comcast, with just 46 million. So you can see that difference is quite huge.
As far as countries that are falling behind with IPv6 adoption, what would be your recommendation?
So again, so you touch a very sensitive issue, because whenever you introduce new technologies, so you create a digital divide. Now in the internet, it will be even worse this time, because we have people that have introduced IPv6, and some countries are going to move to IPv6 only. So I expect by 2025, 25% will work only with IPv6 only. 50% will be working with IPv6 and IPv4, and the last 25% will be working with IPv4 for a while. So until we get everyone by the end of this decade to move to IPv6 only, then you have one single internet. And you heard from Dr. Satyan Gupta that the Indian government is to do two things. One is to give each person his own IPv6 address for free, which is not done in any other country. The second one is they want to have 100% coverage of IPv6 in the next 2 years. So this is going to be a mandate from the government. So we need the same thing in the other countries. Then we'll be on par, in parity with IPv6 and IPv4 around the world, because we need time in order to move the applications from IPv4 to IPv6. And then we'll be in parity with IPv6 only in the next 5 years. So the call is to each government, especially in developing countries, the government itself is the biggest user. So when they request IPv6, then the ISPs will say, okay, this is a business case, then in this case they will do that. So it's not a voluntary effort, so you have to have the business case behind it.
Thank you so much for the interview. I've learned so much.
Thanks for doing a good job.
Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallet, blockchain, stablecoins, MetaNet, the evolution of money. Everybody is talking about Bitcoin today, but what exactly is it? Learn the basics from experts. Learn what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why it matters. Bitcoin 101, your ultimate guide to the fundamentals of blockchain.